opera is full of absolutely amazingly wonderful music, derived from Mahagonny Songspiel, which of course is basically popular music written for a serious music festival. And when he came to rework it as an opera, Weill's fantastic imagination as a serious composer comes in as well, using techniques that are more like grand opera. The music derives from these popular forms, some of them vocal and some of them really dance forms. There's this little short sequence which sounds very much like written out jazz. There are this sort of blues type tempos and that sort of thing. And the second number of the piece is the Alabama song, which of course is very famous. I mean, it's not particularly about Alabama anywhere, it's about just a generalized idea of utopia, where people can be happy, and how you lose it and you never find it again. The jazz comes to its own at various places in the opera, particularly in Act 2, when they explore the possibility of all sorts of pleasure with no criticism, with no constraint. And there's the scene where the girls are available, the sex scene. And in that scene, the saxophones are very prominent, and they have something which sounds like a tango initially, and then eventually ba 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 ba, a sort of jazz, more jazz influenced. So all these influences from popular music are mixed in together with the sort of more serious background. It's not one particular place. That is what's clever. Weill mixes these styles, serious Stravinsky-style music, parody of Bach. There's like Bach chorales in the piece, a Bach fugue. But there is also what you might call Gebrauchsmusik, that is this music to be used, which derives from people like Hindemith and that whole Bauhaus period. There are, of course, ensembles and more like aria structures, even quasi-recitatives and so on. So it uses a much wider range of expression than the Songspiel does. What you don't have is the music to comment on the emotional life of the people, as you would do in Wagner and of course in Puccini. So that the music, when we hear Jenny and Jimmy first having a conversation together, the music is unbelievably beautiful, rather sexy music on the saxophone and with the clarinet as well, and the guitar, which is all the references of falling in love, young people, 20th century modern music. But on top of that, the vocal lines are cold, and she's saying, I'm a prostitute, I need to know what you want for your money. That sort of contrast is what we have to work on in performance. It's not always clear what you're meant to think. You have a much clearer indication from the text, from the Brecht, of course. It's pretty certain that they hope people would come out of the performances and think capitalism was a bad idea. They don't do it by an emotional way. It is all done, as it were, intellectually. It's meant to be open-ended for discussion.